we are doing Eden.
Right there.
She's right there. She's doing the voices too.
And we will catch y'all next time.
Bye.
Welcome to the third installment of the San Japan Project Eden's Garden podcast. I have some amazing folks with me. I guess we'll just do a line of introductions just in case you don't know these people by this point. So let's go from right to left. I'm Juvie, a.k.a. Dick Durden, a.k.a. Richard Hain, and I'm the co-director on the project. But let's just do quick intros.
I am Dakota Farnsworth. I am the voice actor for Kai Montiago.
I'm Elias, also known by Erxion, and I am a moderator in the Discord server.
Hi there, I'm Kevin Gerard. I voice our lovely headmaster Tozu.
Hi, I'm Lily. I go by Spades in the Discord server, and I'm one of the programmers.
And I've already been on the first podcast, but I'm back again. My name is Justin. I'm the sound lead, dialogue editor, mixer for the game, in charge of all of this stuff. So I'm back again, post everything that we've done, and I'm going insane.
Second podcast, man. This man makes himself
Second
the
one.
center of attention constantly.
Listen, I'm only here because sadly Hannah had to go.
Yes.
So I had to fill in.
R.I.P. Hannah.
in the
But
last
Hannah did an
second.
amazing job on
She
that
did
panel.
great.
Can we talk about that?
Yes.
So we're actually just coming off of doing the Project Eden's Garden panel, which I assume you can also find on our YouTube. So
Yeah, I don't know what the panel's
Well-
probably already up.
no way.
I know, right?
Wait, is it actually?
Wait, actually?
Wait,
It's-
really?
No, I would be like,
No, but what I mean for
ring, ring, Steven, you're
terms of-
insane.
What I mean in terms of that is that we're probably going to put out the panel on the YouTube before we put out these
Yes.
podcasts.
Yes.
Oh,
So it's already
okay.
on the YouTube, maybe, allegedly. So
Things
go watch
might
that after
change.
this.
Things
You
might
can
change.
literally binge Eden's Garden right now. Because let's start there and just talk about the insane amount of content we've gotten out of San Japan. So we have 3 podcast episodes.
Yes.
And I'm not spoiling anything. This is the last one, so I can say everything.
Correct. Yes.
I can tell you who gets killed in chapter 1. I can say literally anything. No, I'm just
Oh.
completely unhinged.
Yeah, I don't even know when these are getting posted in terms of development.
Yeah, we have
so-
no idea. You're figuring this out as soon as we are, but in the real world. We had 3 podcast episodes. We had a panel. What am I missing?
The booth.
We have
The booth,
the
yes.
booth, obviously,
Yeah.
and that's going to be part of the documentary that Steven's putting together. That's probably not out by this point.
Oh, that's going to take forever.
He said it's going to take a while. He's going to voice it over. He's going to write a
Oh,
whole
really?
script. I'm going to try to help him with it. Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
You're going to want to make sure to watch the documentary all the way through to the end because there may or may not be a little fun thing that we're going to sneak in at the end there. So keep an eye out for that. So yeah, 3 podcasts, a panel, a documentary, and maybe whatever else we can scrounge up. Maybe some YouTube shorts. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something funky.
I mean, a bunch of the voice actors have already been posting stuff online.
Yeah, this has
And,
been a wealth of
and other
content.
people, too.
So
Y'all are
classic
good.
conventions. Okay,
Also, we are in the middle of the convention center.
yeah, we're being a little obnoxious with
Yeah,
this.
I mean, I tried to find like a place where we were kind of out of the way, where there's not a lot of people. Also, the landmark of San Antonio is like right behind us.
That's amazing.
Like the tower.
Oh,
The
wow.
tower is literally
That's a
right
great
behind
finale.
us. So I hope everything's looks cool, and they haven't told me to not do this yet. So
we haven't got in trouble
We
yet.
have
We'll
not
see
got
how it
in
goes.
trouble
People
yet.
are just walking by us.
We may
Um,
just have to run with the camera and the audio equipment as we're running away
Yeah.
from security.
Yeah, exactly.
hopefully a crowd doesn't just like show up and just be like, "What's going on here?"
I actually thought about telling them at the booth before we left because there was a pretty big crowd at the booth after the panel. That definitely brought some people in. I was thinking about telling them like, "Hey, we're going to do a podcast recording on the 3rd floor if you want to watch us." And then I was like, maybe that's not the best idea. Maybe
yeah,
we'll leave this
probably
one for
not.
YouTube mostly. But who knows? Yeah, maybe a crowd will form.
So let's talk about this weekend.
Yeah, I wanna first and foremost, just because I haven't had a chance to really, it's been so go. I haven't really got a chance to talk to y'all much outside of like planned content. So
Yeah.
I just want to start with like we can go right to left again, but I guess like most memorable memory formed at San Japan, or at least the first one that comes to your mind. So Dakota, kick us off, man.
I would say most memorable thing is starting up the booth and having all the fans come by and all of us are signing autographs for everybody, and there's all of us being together in that setting because this is the first time we've all met up before, and it felt like I was talking to Dee about it earlier, and it's like some of us were like coming off the plane, like being like, oh, like we're a little nervous meeting everybody for the first time. But as soon as we got here, we clicked. Like everyone was just a big happy family. So
I think for me, it was the Rainforest Cafe.
Oh my god.
It was because usually our one connection to each other is Project Eden's Garden. So naturally, during this weekend, we'd mostly talk about it. So the Rainforest Cafe was an opportunity to get to know people outside of the project, and I don't know. I think it went well, and we got to know each other well. So it was really a nice experience.
I love that answer. We didn't get any content at Rainforest Cafe. That was a
Yeah.
missed
I
opportunity
know.
for
having
sure.
fun.
Nobody
We were
filmed
having
We
fun.
were,
anything.
we were so in the
We were-
moment
we were-
there.
we
Yeah.
That was when we
We
no
filmed- yeah,
cameras,
like,
no
yeah,
words.
you filmed something.
Was it we filmed a few like food critic
Yeah,
takes
food
as
reviews
our
Oh,
and
as the voice,
reviews.
as the characters.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
By the way, that Korean stir fry, bomb. um, but yeah, no, I have to mirror Dakota's answer in terms of just like seeing everybody for the first time and meeting them. So like getting off the plane, like my flights were very poorly timed, but I did that on purpose. It just didn't work out as we planned due to other flight conflicts. But yeah, no, I had basically shown up with only 1 hour of sleep and just like waiting at the door for someone to pick me up where I'm like, so I'm part of the team like trying to help set up. Can someone get me, please? It's like, I'm a little lost.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as we got to the booth, yeah, no, I just seeing everybody was like, this is awesome. This is great.
Yeah, I gotta say pretty much the same thing because it's been such a magical experience. For anybody who didn't know, I am Canadian. I don't travel to the States, and this is my first US con to be attending. So not
welcome.
only am I going to a different country, but I had never met anyone in person. There is a Canada travel advisory as well coming to the States, so I was extra nervous, but it was kind of a once in a lifetime experience for me, and especially because I'm in between like university and my career. So in this period of transition, I'm like, this is when I have to be taking chances. This is when I have to be like just taking opportunities that come up because I may not get to in the future. I might just be too busy with my career and my future. And man, am I glad that I took the chance to meet everybody because like a bunch of us in the Airbnb, I was kind of worried about, I don't know, potential friction. It was none of that. It has been a few days, but I'm like, I feel like I've been living with everybody in that Airbnb for so much longer than it has been. And I feel like I've known everyone here for so much longer than a few days, which I guess is true from the Discord. But
Yeah.
Isn't that the weird thing that happens with these things though? Like, yeah, for seriously, like I was hanging out with like Anthony, Justin, and I'm like, it feels so normal being around you already. You would very quickly forget that it's only been 3 days that we've actually seen each other in person like this. It's really bizarre how that happens psychologically.
forget who was saying it, but someone, I think it was you, who was saying that it's like a summer camp
Yes.
where you have your like camp friends and you go home and you're like, that was a surreal like part of life. That is not like how I normally live life, but it's like you have this community and you have these friends and everything happens so fast and you're so busy and then it's over and you're already looking back on it.
Does that mean we're starting a summer camp? Is this going to be like a constant thing? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
The
okay.
Eden's Garden Summer Camp
Yeah.
Edition.
Summer camp. That just sounds like a lawsuit.
Well, you
waiting
called
to
yourself
happen.
like a chaperone. You could.
Chaperone.
You're
Oh,
also
yeah,
kind of
you're
like a
already
camp
starting it.
counselor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
It's
keep
already
adding the
happening.
titles.
Next
Yeah.
summer Discord event.
Yeah. Oh God.
At this rate, probably the winter event.
So Justin, what about you? What's your memorable memory?
My brain has been going too fast this entire weekend. I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off for so many things. These podcasts, the panel, going back to what I said to you, Juve, before we got on the plane from Houston to here, nothing bad has happened.
It's gone
Nothing
shockingly
bad has
smooth.
happened.
I don't know if y'all feel that too, but like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
at conventions,
Knock
I just
on
always
glass.
yeah.
We got a couple hours
We only
left.
have a few hours left. What could possibly
This is
what
the
could
last-
possibly go wrong?
What could I literally have been saying. I said that like before we got on the plane, and you were like, "Don't you? You just said the thing."
I swore you jinxed us because I mean conventions. If you haven't attended or if you haven't worked them before, there's a million variables at play. I mean, I'll give props to Justin, like amazing work with all the audio technical stuff. Like Justin has been on top of it. he's talked to when we were doing the panel, he talked to shout out to Raul, the guy who's
Shout
kind
out
of
to Raul.
shout out to Raul.
Raul is the man.
He is.
Like, I was able to talk to him on like audio tech terms, and he was like, "Oh, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. Yeah,
Cool. That's cool.
I'll do whatever I need for this guy." Because I came into this with a plan. Because I've done stuff like this before. Maybe not specifically like recording a panel, but I've done like weddings. I've worked audio, video for weddings and stuff, so I know like how stuff works. And all I just needed to know is, do you guys have a mixer? And where can I run power? And I brought everything I needed to do for that. And then we came in on Friday, I believe, to
Came
check
in on
out, to
Friday.
kind of scout out the panel room.
Yeah, Friday.
Friday
That's right. We scouted Friday. We set
Eh.
up Saturday. We
Yeah,
executed
they
Sunday.
let us, Raul, everyone from, I believe it's Jaws Audio, who is like working the audio tech for the convention. I walked up to them just like, this is kind of what we're going to be doing. And they said, okay, cool. Do you actually want to set up like everything the night before so you guys don't have like to be like running around doing this half an hour before? So that's what we did. And those guys helped us with like I did most of the setting up, but like they were just like, do you need anything else? Like, and just like making sure we got everything taken care of. And set up today for the panel, I was the calmest that I was this weekend, because
You
all I
crushed it.
needed to do was turn on the camera and plug everything in, and that was it.
And I guess that's a good opportunity. I mean, not that this is like promoted, sponsored, or anything, but like, shout out to the San Japan staff, everybody who works at the convention center, so on and so forth, because really this thing has gone so smooth, eerily smooth. I couldn't have asked for a better convention, especially for Eden's Garden. The first time we're doing a convention, first time we're doing a booth, first time we're doing a panel. I think pretty much for the entire staff, outside of me, this is the first time for folks working a convention. I think for Pap, was it Kev, or I don't know.
It was Pap.
Pap,
It wa-
first time attending a convention at all, and I'm like, that's crazy. You haven't even you don't
Wait,
even
Pap
know what it's
didn't
like on
even-
the other side. You've only worked it.
I didn't even know Pap never attended a convention. Like,
That's wild.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. Yeah.
I can't imagine my first time being at a convention being on that side. Now it's gonna feel weird as an attendee. It's
Yeah,
it's almost
yeah.
like hard to go back after you've worked a convention in some ways.
Also,
Um,
his cosplay is so top tier.
Yeah, it was
For
really good.
Ulysses, I'm like, I cannot believe he's never been to a con before.
I don't know if you haven't
How in the
seen
heck?
if you haven't seen Pap's
Right?
cosplay
Hold
of his
on. How in the
character.
heck have you never been to a convention before? Like, I cannot believe
He's
that.
the most like convention attendee of
Yeah.
a lot of us.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He's built for it.
But that actually segues nicely. So we'll talk plenty about Eden's Garden, but I am kind of curious, and feel free anybody who wants to kind of take this any order, just like non-Eden's Garden related. I want to live vicariously through y'all a little bit, right? Because I haven't really got to do much around the convention. I kind of did a quick lap just to see things. But I'm curious as to maybe most interesting panel you've seen, booth that you really enjoyed checking out, just anything beyond the Eden's Garden pocket. What are some awesome things you've seen at San Japan?
I'm gonna need a second on my answer if someone wants to take that.
I don't know. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so the booth that I enjoyed the most was actually the booth like right next to us. It was it was a group of two people, and they had like these games they made that were still in the alpha phase. So there were still a lot of bugs going on, but they had a concept and they wanted to show it to people and get feedback. And I really admired that. And they started talking about how the company that they've made were like, it was built by like programmers from around the world, and they were just like passionate, and they just wanted to come to Japan just to show what they had made and get feedback. And I just respected that a lot. So
Fascinating. I love that answer.
Was it? So I didn't really do too much perusing myself. I was more just, again, as you said, quick laps. There was one vendor that looked really cool, that was selling like customized rugs or like carpets or something with anime designs on them. So there's like this piece of from Attack on Titan, and it just shows like the colossal Titan looking over the wall, and it's literally just like a rug that you would just put in like the living room of your house. And I'm like, this looks absolutely incredible. I want to, I would love to order something like this. Unfortunately, finances not exactly in my wheelhouse after all this. But that was definitely one of the things that I thought was really good. Also, the little sword fighting thing that was going on, the little
funny.
sword fighting. Granted, they're foam swords, and I used to do like very, very briefly armored combat with like actual weapons. That sort of thing is fun to me. I love that sort of stuff. So I still need to participate in it. Apparently, it's free today, so I'm probably thinking about doing that after this.
Oh, man, that's
Show
awesome.
If I have
everybody
time.
up.
And if you're wondering, like, oh, Kev, how did you not get around more? I'll give a quick shout out to Kev. I think yesterday, what was it? For basically 4 hours straight with minimal breaks, Kev was in front of the booth with a sign, dancing, promoting the
How
booth.
are your legs? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. They're sore.
Have you done stretches?
No.
So,
That
okay.
was
We,
also
we got back to
something
our
that I
room
didn't do,
yesterday.
but-
We got back to our room yesterday, and I was like, how you feeling? And he goes, I have blisters. And I'm like, you should. At that point, yeah.
That is how the human body works. Yes. It was so funny when you started. And when you started was probably like, it was early. It was 11 a.m. maybe something like that.
Basically, as soon as the thing opened.
Exactly. Like you jumped right as soon as we made the poster. You jumped right on it. And Hayden and I kind of looked at each other, real like smug like, and we're like, how long? I was like, hey Hayden, how long you think he's got in him? And he's like, I give it 5 minutes. I'm like, if that. And then 4 hours later, we're looking at each other like, well, he showed us. That was impressive.
I don't look it, but I do have the energy.
Oh yeah, you absolutely crushed that. Sweet. Lily, what about you?
Once again, I did kind of do a couple laps. The thing that kind of wowed me the most, weirdly enough, were all the cars. So if you don't know what an Ita-sha is, it's a term coined in Japan for cars that basically have like anime decals, decals
Oh.
on them. Like the whole car generally is based off of like one anime character or series, and it's like the whole car. And similar to any sort of car show or meet, you'd take your car to this, you'd drive it, park it, and then you can walk around. And I've seen a couple of those. I'm from Vancouver. There's a pretty big anime community there. I have seen a couple myself just driving around in Vancouver. What I hadn't seen was a flatbed truck. I was
That's very Texas. That's
floored.
very American.
Yeah, I
love
hadn't
it.
seen a full, I don't know, like if it's like an 8x4, like flatbed truck that was purple and the theme was power from Chainsaw Man. And I sent it to my friends back
fitting.
home and they're like, do you think they drive those to work? Like, I imagine most people just, if you have a luxury car or something like that, you park it in your garage, take it out to meet. But what do you do
I
with
can-
an anime?
I can actually answer that question
Really?
because I live in California and they do that all the time at our cons too. I've seen them just driving casually down this freeway where I'm just
Trucks.
yeah, well, not trucks, but I mean just like the cars themselves with the decals and everything. Just all of a sudden Hatsune Miku flooring it, and I'm like, oh, I remember you.
Yeah. One day.
That's amazing. I love that. I learned something new. I didn't know. What was the term for that again?
Ita-sha. Like, it comes from like Ditensha is car, and like Ita means like it hurts. So like
Oh boy.
like an Ita bag is like, I have mine right here. It's Persona. So the reason why
Hey.
they call it an Ita bag is because it hurts your wallet, and it also kind of hurts to look at because there's so much going on.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Well, learned something new. And then Dakota, what about you?
I gotta be honest. So because I was so late getting in, most of my time here has pretty much been like work. Where I've been wanting to either make sure everything's been going smoothly, make sure the booth was going well, or just checking on everyone on the team and making sure everyone has what they need and making sure they don't need anything. So I've gotten to walk around. I've gotten a little bit around Artist Alley, and I've gotten around. I went to a panel with Pap and Kevin. We ended up leaving a little prematurely though because of the meetup with Shuichi's voice actor and Sakura's voice actor. So I mean, I would say I pretty much have been working the whole trip, but that's because I wanted to make sure that we were all set, and we were all doing our thing. So
Okay, so actually, I'm so glad that you bring up Suichi and Sakura's voice actor, because this is almost like a sequel to Podcast 2 that I crashed.
Yes.
Yes. So you probably, I almost certainly you watched these in order, right? But I guess if you didn't, if you're like a psychopath and you're like watching in inverse order or on randomizer, you probably noticed, assuming we didn't edit it out, we don't edit it out.
Oh, we are not editing
There's
that
no way
out.
we edit that out.
There's
It's such a
no
good
way.
moment.
Their
So-
reaction to it was great.
Yeah. So in the second podcast, do y'all know this?
I
don't
did
think-
hear this.
I don't think
Sweden's
so.
been telling me about it.
Okay.
I think he's told me 3 times actually.
Just to recap or give like the behind the scenes of what happened. So actually, all props to Dakota, because this you masterminded it. I was just the henchman who executed.
Appreciate that.
Yes. So Suichi and Sakura's voice actor, who are actually a married couple, are here at the convention. They were doing a fan meet and greet, and so Dakota was like, "Do you think they would play our game?" And I'm like, "Almost certainly not. They've got to be busy. You know, they're here to make money and all that good stuff. Don't want to cut into their bottom line, so to speak." But I was like, we can at least. It doesn't hurt to ask. What's the worst they're going to do? Like slap me across the face? No, they seem like nice people. So I went to the meet and greet. I waited in line. There were about 6 or 7 people ahead of me. I was probably there for like a total of 45 minutes. I approached Grant initially, Suichi, and actually Leon's voice actor.
Yeah.
So he's been in the series twice now, along with, check out his IMDb. He's incredible. Approached him. It was one of those weird things. They're expecting fans, and I was like, I am a fan, yes. But I'm here with Eden's Garden. Let me tell you about Eden's Garden. And I tried not to be overwhelming, gave him the overview of the project, and I was like, even if you just stopped by and waved, it would make everyone's day. And he was super receptive. He was really nice. I was like, I know you're here doing signatures. Normally, folks will like charge for that. I don't think they were. I didn't see like a price list for them. I'm not sure.
They actually signed one of our posters.
Yeah. They were really
Mhm.
cool about it. But I told them, I was like, I would happily compensate your time. I don't expect you to just do this for us, whatever. But
Yeah.
he's like, no, that sounds freaking awesome. He was like really laid back, really chill dude. And then he's like, actually, this is my wife. And I was like, I did not know that.
That's
And
crazy.
Also in the
Yeah.
Danganronpa series. And I was like, is it cool with you if I go pitch this to her? And he's like, she'll almost certainly say yes. So go to her. They were having a lunch break at 3:30. And I was like, great. And obviously, I can't negotiate that time, right? Like, they are
Sure.
being so generous to do this. I was like, I'm taking what I can get. I know I'm rambling a little bit here. I'll tie it up.
That's
So they say it's at 3:30. I go back to the booth. The complicated part was podcast 2 had started, if I remember, at 2:30.
It was a little. We wanted to start at 2, but it started a little bit later. but-
Yeah.
which was fine.
So here are the things that are occurring to me as I'm walking back. So I was on the high of getting a yes. I was like, this is going to be amazing. Everyone's going to love this. I can't wait. All the smiles are going to be amazing. Then I realize, oh my God, everyone else is in a hotel 10 minutes away doing a podcast, or like a third of the team is.
Yeah.
And then we had Rainforest Cafe at 4, and they're coming at 3:30. So this is like the most inconvenient time it could have possibly been. Like, now we have fires, and everything did not go smooth. But the team was amazing. They mobilized. I'm sitting there nervous because everybody at the booth is excited, but there's like 8 of us at the podcast in the hotel, and I'm messaging Justin, but I know Justin's got his phone set up, and I know there's no way I'm going to get a hold of these people. People are focused on the podcast. So I'm like, what do? I run to the hotel, go up to the 23rd floor, and I felt terrible about this, but in the middle of the podcast, I knocked it, and I mean, you've kind of seen the rest. That's the whole behind the scenes. Everybody freaks out. I tell them what's happening. I'm like, try to wrap it up in 15 minutes, and then get your asses over here as quickly as you can. And it all worked out. We had a big welcoming sign for them. They took pictures with us. They filmed it. They were really into it. They actually haven't done conventions since 2015. This is the first convention they've done in like 8 years.
Wow.
We
So
got
imagine
lucky.
it from their perspective, right? They come back. They're probably like, do people even remember us? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's been a little
yeah.
while since, and then they have this huge crew. I don't know if we're being waved at. No, that's somebody else. Huge crew, 16 plus developers, just like literally in tears, about to meet them. And it was a magical experience.
That's
I was so
awesome.
grateful.
I didn't get to be there, but it's fine.
Neither.
get to be there?
It was funny. So I coordinated the whole thing. I felt really bad about this. I coordinated the whole thing, and I didn't even get to say goodbye to them because we had the 4 o'clock Rainforest Cafe
Yes,
reservation.
yes,
Which
yeah.
we were also late to.
I was like, everybody, please enjoy this moment. I don't want to rush you. I'm going to go to Rainforest and get our table because they're holding a table for 22 people or something like this. So I'm like, okay, I got to get there so we don't like lose our table.
Yeah.
So then I ran straight to Rainforest Cafe in the blistering San Antonio heat. And that's the end
You
of
are
my
just
story.
the
Scene.
MVP of that entire experience.
I'm just trying to get my steps in.
And
we didn't even make that meme yesterday. I don't think.
I made it in my head a couple times.
That's
For
my
context,
gosh.
I very early on, I think we were still at the Houston airport when I started this. I was talking about we kept like walking more than we needed to, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we don't need to keep walking back and forth." And day one, when we first got here, Thursday, it was just a lot of going back and forth, picking people up, picking things up, dropping them off at the convention center, so on and so forth. And there's a lot of moaning and groaning, like, "Oh," I was like, "Guys, we got to get those steps in, right?" Because it goes whatever. And Justin started teasing me, bullying me. So did Anthony about that. So that's the origin point of the "get your steps in"
That's incredible.
meme. So we've
Yeah.
done a lot at San Japan. I already asked about like favorite memory, but I guess I'm curious is like what was the most surprising to y'all? You met a lot of people who you've only known on the internet. We already talked about that a little bit, but like what kind of shocked you the most? Maybe one of the things that we did out here could be fan related, could be convention related, people related. I don't know. There's something that surprised you, took you off guard, positive or negative way. I'm just kind of curious.
The prom proposal.
The what?
The
Prom
prom
proposal.
proposal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
We're going
Oh,
to
yeah.
prom.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
prom.
do you wanna?
That was
was
pretty good.
recorded
I was
on the
not expecting
panel.
that in the panel. That threw me
That
off.
was great.
Yeah, that was you nailed that.
What was funny was like this meme started from like several months ago.
Oh
when,
no, it was like a year ago.
well, I'm losing.
Yeah,
track
that
of
was
time, man.
that
Yeah,
was
Tozu's had a long crush on Kai or something like
Yeah,
that,
well,
right?
yeah, yes.
Well, no, what happened was Dakota was flying in to California to meet your boyfriend, right?
yeah. So I was meeting up with Kai. Yeah.
Yeah, and was it we were just chatting about that, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm meeting up with my boyfriend in
Fairfield.
Yeah, Fairfield." I'm like, Fairfield, California. Fairfield. What? Google Maps. Fairfield. My hometown is literally 10 minutes away. Oh, we gotta meet up.
100%.
So,
Yep.
So we met up that day. We hung out at my place. We went to this restaurant that my friend had told me about called World Famous Hot Boys, and it's a I know, really weird name, but they've got these chicken sandwiches that are to die for.
Oh, that's where
And
the
then you
chicken
actually die
sandwiches
for-
come in.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's this specific sandwich. They got a heating system, a heat rate system, and it's the hot, which is literally a chicken sandwich with a rub of habaneros, ghost pepper, Carolina Reaper, and scorpion all together.
That sounds
Oh
terrible.
no.
It is. It is terrible.
It is
yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
But the sandwich itself is good, but that rub kills you.
We actually tried the mild version of it
Yeah,
before we
I
ate the
wanted
real
them
one
to
because
try
I
the-
wanted to know what it was like. It was one of the best chicken sandwiches
Yeah.
I've ever tasted.
The
It
mild
was
version or the
fantastic.
The mild.
Then the mild version, yes,
Yeah,
100%
okay.
the mild
Okay.
version.
The sandwich
But-
itself is fantastic,
Yeah.
but we had to do the challenge. So I'm
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
we basically made it into like this inside joke with the hot, and so like we decided to eat the sandwich together, and yeah, we recorded it as well. It was hilarious.
Oh, I
And
need
then
to look that up. I think I missed that.
Yeah, it is. It should be in the pinned messages in our
Somewhere.
staff channel. yeah.
Somewhere it's in the
Yeah,
pinned
I know our
messages.
million discords are. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, don't tell me about it.
So with that, we did the hot challenge, and then we were talking about doing something called Eden's Garden Prom. It was an event where a bunch of our cast has never been to prom before, or their countries they just don't have prom. So I was like, oh, I'll host like a prom thing for everybody, and then we'll have this little like get together. It'll be super cute, whatever. We'll figure out how it works. Still haven't done it yet, but we're getting there. So we were setting up Eden's Garden Prom, and we were talking about the idea of having dates like a real prom. So this was right after April Anarchy, when all the crazy stuff happened with all the different propaganda posts and stuff like that. So I actually had a propaganda team of 8 people that I hired for that event. And so one of them found out about the hot thing and also found out about the Eden's Garden Prom idea. And he was like, "Want me to make you a poster?" And I said, "Oh yeah, absolutely." So we made this thing that said you make me hot. Will you go to Eden's Garden Prom with me? And it was Kai and then Tozu on it. And then I gave that to him. And then that's where all of that started.
Yeah, and so I
ship
had
it.
to
Yeah.
make a call back where it's like, we have to do this. We have to do this. So I'm like, I'm getting ready to say it, or I'm gonna do it at the panel, and Snow's mom had like all these snacks in a bag, and she's trying to get rid of them, and she pulls out an apple. I'm like, oh, this is perfect.
Done and done.
Yeah.
This is perfect. She set it up.
And you ate the apple. I saw you eating.
Oh
that.
yeah, I
You're
ate it.
chomping
Yeah, I
down
ate the
on
whole
it.
thing. Yep.
That's good. Okay,
So,
so
yeah.
how did we get there? We got there on surprising moments because yes, that was a very surprising moment in the panel.
100%.
You asking Kai to prom. Okay, good. What other surprising moments kind of came out this weekend? What else we got?
Yeah, I'll take this one. I was surprised at just how many people who came by the booth had heard of the game and were fans, because I think seeing a number on Discord is very, very different than going to a con and meeting and like getting to know the fans and the amount of people who were really, really into it. And even after I won't speak about the chapter 1 demo too much, but I was on the server. Yeah, I was on the server this morning, and uh can I say stuff about the chapter 1 demo?
Yeah, we
Oh,
talked
yeah,
about
if
it in
it's
the
in the
other.
demo, it's
Yeah,
it's
okay.
out in the
The-
open.
the-
Everyone recorded it at this point, so it's
Yeah.
somewhere
Yeah,
on
and the second
Discord.
episode was basically just Weeby's reaction to
Yeah.
it. So
Okay, fair enough. So basically on the fan server, there were kind of two reactions to the chapter 1 demo. Was like, intense fan theories about like one or two lines or like
Yes.
really tiny details. They'll like zoom and enhance, like, okay, but if you put this together with this, and then all the other comments were pretty much about Damon's gay calendar. Like there were so
Yeah.
many, and I was so happy to just see almost like fan reactions in real time, because I am the newest member of the internal team. So I was not around or on the team when the prologue dropped. So this is kind of my first foray into pushing out something into the wild and seeing how people react to it right after we've pushed it out. So I think that was kind of surprising to me, was just the flood of people both in person and online who were reacting to stuff that we have worked on.
I love that, and I also love that you bring up Damon's calendar, because funny enough, that was actually a challenge on the integration side when we were putting together that 3D room in Unity. I don't remember why, but that texture was giving us a real hard time. It was hard to make that calendar look good in the room. So and I'm glad that it ended up getting
Yeah.
the extra time that we put in to making that
Absolutely
work.
worth it.
I'm glad. Yeah, I guess. Not what I expected to be a fan favorite, but hey, we'll take those. That's amazing, and so glad to have you here with us. I mean, it's been
Thank
amazing.
you.
So yeah, seriously.
I did wanna kind of jump off your point there with the community. It is insane to me, and it was one of the things that also I wish I said this on the panel when we were asking about like what got us to want to join the project. Seeing the massive support of a community like this for even before the prologue came out, we had this huge group before we even had anything, and it was like it's just insane to me that like the level of support that people have, because throughout the con people have been like, hey, update us on what's going on, update us on what's going on, update us on what's going on. And it's like I feel like this isn't a very common thing to get out of an indie game like ours. Like this is just insane. Like we've reached a point in this community I don't think anyone could have possibly predicted we would have gotten to, and that's just incredible.
I remember when the mods in the San Japan general chat had to put on slow mode for how
Yeah,
right,
yes,
crazy it
right.
was.
People would just like go absolutely nuts at any information. They were begging for like videos to be taken from like
Yes,
chapter 1.
yeah, yeah.
Like, please record it, please. Even just the picture is enough.
Yeah, and with the chat delay thing you're talking about too, I only recently found out that everyone else has push to talk in the voice
Oh,
chats.
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I had no
everybody-
idea.
Oh,
I had
yeah,
literally
yeah.
no idea. So there was one chat where we were in where I had push to talk for the first time, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Why does this have push to talk? And I was like, it's always been push to talk. I'm like, oh, I know something.
Yeah.
Well, actually, another thing I want to say that was surprising, in addition to like fan reactions to the actual content, I was surprised at the amount of people who came to the booth who looked up to us as role models, whether we are more on the technical side or the voice acting side. The amount of people that came up that were like, I want to ask you for advice. And I'm like, oh, people see us as like, we've made it. People want to be like us and do what we're doing. And that was also surprising. It was I got to talk to a bunch of people who are looking to break into the indie game industry, and was like, you're a programmer on this game that I really, really love. How do I do that? How do I be like you? And that was kind of eye-opening to me that I got to give advice to people. And I don't know if you guys also felt that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did, yeah.
And it's only the prologue too. That was another thing
Yeah.
I thought about, is that we've only released the prologue and we're at this stage. Where are we gonna be when this is done?
Yes,
Right? And,
yeah.
like, this is insane.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I mean, I at this point, I feel like a broken record, but it doesn't surprise me at all. People coming up and looking up to y'all and admiring y'all that way, because what I always say about this team is it's just a group of like highly motivated superstars. Like it's lightning in a bottle. If you tried to recreate this team, this experience, this project a million other times, you'd fail a million times. There's just something magical that happened. I don't know how, but it did. And it's always so heartwarming just to see the community engage the way they are. Every little tidbit that they can get is so juicy to them. And what I'm hoping is, again, this isn't an official announcement of any stretch of the imagination, but one thing that we've talked about here is, would we ever do another convention like this? And I think if we did, there's obviously a ton that we've learned from this. Like I mentioned, like this is first time for many working a panel, let alone being at a convention, let alone attending a convention.
Mhm.
So we've learned so much, and so I guess like I kind of want to. Maybe this is like a mini post-mortem, not to put y'all on the spot, but I am curious, like if we ever did do something like this again, what's something that y'all would want to change, to add on, do differently? Like just knowing everything that you know now, like let's just spend a little time reflecting on that.
Maybe a little more space.
Brother, tell me
Bigger.
about it. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what. Our boy Andy, the indie game director here, who is amazing, by the way, fantastic. He did allude to. He's like, yeah. By the way, if y'all ever do come back, we could talk about getting y'all more space. And I was like, yeah, we would make a pretty wild experience if we had more than our little 10x10 area for sure. More space is a good one. What else?
Like, I guess I'll jump off the more space thing really quick, because Bettina, I felt so bad. Bettina, I asked to help us design the look of the booth. And when we finally saw the booth, I'm like, this is way too small for what Bettina designed for us.
Do we have that booth concept out in the open? We should maybe we'll like splice it in here or something.
Yeah.
It should see the light of day, just because it
I
was
think
so
so.
well
I
put
think so.
together,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
and we
no,
only executed on
absolutely.
like 40% of it at the actual
Yeah,
convention.
and I was like,
So I think we should splice that in somewhere into the video or something, post it on Discord,
Yeah.
something, just so it can see the light of day and something to be aspirational for maybe
For
in
sure,
the future.
for sure.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the things that kind of did work out for us, not necessarily post-mortem, but it's for stuff like this where we don't know, where it's the first time doing it or we don't know too much. It's good that we were able to be flexible and adapt with everything. I mean, I've been doing that all weekend with all of this stuff. Just trying to like find avenues that work and make it work. I think is a real testament to like how well this weekend has gone for us. Is that we did have a plan and we had to make changes, but nothing fundamentally went in a like south
nothing fell apart.
no,
that like
nothing.
ruined it for everybody.
The demos worked out, the posters that we had worked out, like the printing, getting them here, the monitors, all of that,
Oh yeah.
the Steam Deck even, all of that worked out. I was expecting way more hiccups than we actually had, really. Other than some delayed flights and things like that, actually things went pretty smoothly. But I think postmortem, Duve, you were mentioning it earlier, but now that we've done one panel, maybe scheduling multiple panels at the same convention that kind of focused on different aspects, because we were saying we'd love to dive into more of the like technical aspect of things for people who are maybe looking to get into indie game development, but then also more of like about Project Eden's Garden and the background and the characters and kind of a more fan-oriented panel as well.
Absolutely. I mean, you could even feel it in the Q&A, right? It was so, in a good way, it was very scattered. Some people
Yeah.
were asking about the origins of characters, the
Yeah,
art, the association of animals with the... So there's the art stuff, but then there was like, have you considered other game engines, which is obviously going way in the other direction of technical. And so I totally agree with you. I mean, I would love to, in any kind of future convention that we would do, pitch multiple panels. Like, why not? Like, it was such a fun time. And it just also gives one thing I want to hear more from y'all, but one thought that I had as you were talking through is what I loved about this weekend was every single member got a chance to kind of rise to the occasion, whether it be Kev's dancing with the sign or Justin literally making all the audio work. And I'm not
Yeah.
going to list every single person because it would be exhausting, because it's literally 16 people who all rose to the occasion and somehow made this an incredibly special, impactful weekend. And I just loved watching that play out in real time because, yes, we had a plan, but I don't want to take too much credit. We were winging a good portion of it because that's how it works, right? Like things pop up and you have to just kind of wing it. And every single person here got a chance to take the bull by the horns and make it happen. And I just, as the chaperone / camp counselor or whatever the heck you want to call me, it's just so inspiring to see y'all do that in real time. And I think it's why, to your point, Lily, it's why people do look up to y'all, because that's in your DNA. Y'all just know to do that. You don't have to be taught it. You don't have to be told it. It just happens automatically. And there's nothing more inspirational from my perspective than seeing that happen in real time. But anyways, what else? What else could we have done differently?
I'd just like to mention, kind of adding on to your point, is that I think I can speak for everyone when I say that everybody who's helped with the booth and just attending San Japan, everybody's amazing. And there's 20 of us, and there hasn't been any drama or friction. Everything went.
Yeah. We all got. I liked how I was saying before. We all clicked immediately.
Yeah, we all clicked immediately, and there wasn't any major screw ups. So, and this is my first convention, so I'm not the expert here, but
Oh, yours too.
First attending.
yeah, first
as well.
Yes,
Wait,
first
oh my
seriously?
goodness.
So I have no experience on how exactly all of this works, but if I could, for the next one, if it were to happen, I would love it if it could, go as smoothly as the first one. If
We've set a
better.
high bar for ourselves.
Yes.
Because I've
Yes.
been to a lot of conventions. I've been to, as an attendee, well over 25, 30, many Twitch cons, many PAXs, so on and so forth. And what's been interesting for me, I'll share a little bit, is I've worked conventions before, but never quite from the position where normally I'm working with some kind of publisher or something, so a lot of the work's just done for me, and I'm there to be a pretty face at a booth or something like that.
Yeah.
This has been a new role for me to step into, and even when working with large entities that have money backing them, it's not like grassroots the way we are. It goes way more chaotic than what this went. I was like,
Yes.
because when Justin, it was so funny when you said that in the Houston airport, what could possibly go wrong? It was different wording, but you essentially said that. I was like, oh brother, you're gonna learn.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a hell of a weekend. It's gonna be nonstop chaos. I hope y'all are ready. And it ended up not being that. I'm still kind of in shock. I'm still we only have a few hours left. Literally, it's gonna be 3 soon, and the convention
It's
center.
2:45 right now.
Yeah, and it closes at 5. And I'm like, we got 2 hours left. What's gonna go wrong? But I mean, again, just a testament to y'all.
Going off of what you said earlier about how you think that, you said it all weekend that this team's a lightning bottle and everything's just it's a miracle that we have come together and made something like this. It's just compounding off that of just us doing this for the first time and it going so well. It's just how many nat 20s have we rolled?
All of them.
I
Every
love
single
that.
one.
Literally every roll's a nat
We're
20.
Every
using
single
weighted
one.
It's
Every
dice.
single one.
crazy.
Yeah.
This should have
I
none
mean,
of
humble
this should
brag
have
alert,
ever
I guess,
happened.
whoops, but let's take a second to be a little self-indulgent.
I think some pats on the back are deserved.
I was mentioning this to Andrew. I was like, after this, the bar is so high. I don't know where do I go from here? It's
We are so sorry for everything that's going to happen after this.
Although I
Let's
will
keep going.
say,
Let's just
I
keep
will
going.
say,
Let's just keep making
we
it
shouldn't
good.
we shouldn't sell ourselves short because
Oh,
this
absolutely
was
not. Yeah.
this was months in the making. This was planning. Obviously, there's only so much planning you can do, and some of it was just luck that things worked out. But so many people were behind the scenes making this happen. You know, coming out here, doing the arrangements, signing up for things. Because we don't have, because this is our first convention, we don't have a designated role for just somebody that is an event coordinator. This is what I was actually telling Taco, was because this is our first event, it's not just one person that we have whose entire role is to plan conventions, which most of the time for other kind of companies or groups, they will have an event coordinator where if you are going to a convention or just to talk somewhere, this person's job like similar to a social media manager is to coordinate the event, and we didn't have that. So it was actually a miracle. Maybe that's another post-mortem thing.
I was
is
actually
to bring
talking.
somebody on.
I was actually talking to Juvie about this on Friday, Saturday. When we had like a moment, when he was just like, "What are some things that we could do better?" And the first thing I said is leadership positions for various things, like an event coordinator, someone to man the booth, someone like people that are specifically in charge of specific various tasks that we're doing. They are in charge, and everybody needs to listen to them or coordinate with that person, and everybody else also having like secondary roles as like working with this or helping this person, like setting up teams for this, because everything has just been 3 different Discord servers, 50 different group chats, and it's like it's been a hectic experience, but we've somehow patched it together and made it work.
I'm sorry, but I thought that was the case. I thought everyone did have specific roles.
No.
Nobody
kind of
has
just
had a
organic-
specific role.
It kind of organically emerged, right?
Yeah.
Like there
Yeah,
were people who and that's what I mean by taking the bull by the horns, is we had a rough plan, like you said, months of prep go into it, sure. But I think it became very clear to us as we got here that there were clear roles that needed to be fulfilled, and folks just kind of organically slotted into them. And I think that's where kind of like a little bit of the luck comes into play, where it's like it just so happened to work out that, for example, with all the planning that we did, I did not know that Justin was going to emerge as such a superstar and literally just make it. I knew you were good, but damn, brother, I didn't know you were that good. Like serious.
Shucks.
But some of it was planned, some of it kind of just so happened, and I totally agree with the note that. For future conventions, now that we can we know what the buckets of work are much more explicitly, we can be a little bit more explicit in assigning leadership. There's something to be said for it organically emerging over time, because then you can be very reactive, and it's impossible to know everything up front. And there's such thing as over planning, right? If you try to over plan and you have a rigid, what happens when the person in charge of the booth and their secondary people have to run off and go get our table at Rainforest Cafe? Now the booth is unmanned. And that's where that kind of organic, grabbing the bull by the horns, filling in where you need to, and just knowing to do that, being intuitive in that way, comes into play. And this was just a very intuitive weekend from the entire crew here. Okay, so I got like a non-San Japan but Eden's Garden related question, and maybe it sounds like filler. For me, it's actually very important because I don't get to talk to y'all about this kind of stuff. I just want to know like your favorite character. Tell me your favorite character. I mean, obviously we have a couple voice actors here, so maybe there's some bias, maybe there isn't. I don't know. But who is your favorite character in Project Eden's Garden? We can go right for left or whatever.
It's kind of switched around a lot.
Okay.
So it was Jet first, but that was before the casting even happened.
Okay.
And then it started going towards Cassidy, and then it started going back towards Jet. And then it went to Kai for a fat minute because I started learning more about the character. I started loving the character more. It's kind of, I'm gonna be honest, Tozu. I'm gonna be honest, Tozu's kind of become my favorite. Yeah.
Yay.
I mean, that's
The
your prom
literal
date right there,
goat.
so I guess you have to say that.
Yeah.
The literal-
Yeah, of course.
Okay, all right. So I think I know what your answer might be, but give it to us.
Right. Okay. Originally, before I joined the Discord server and interacted with the community, I remember watching the VA reveal, and I was really interested in Jet because I really liked the specific line that was shown. So I was like, "Oh, Jet is so cool." But as I interacted with the community and I got to kind of like learn more about the project, obviously I started to like Winona, and with the whole
Like
manifesto
Winona,
thing.
Tell us more.
You are
Have
the
you ever
Winona
talked
fan,
about
actually.
I don't know. Have you ever done any fanfare or any writing, perhaps, around Winona? Maybe for those who don't know.
Perhaps 10 pages long at least.
Well, I think with the manifesto, that was kind of like my first time doing it.
Winona manifesto.
It's
Explain
in
what the
Can you give
manifesto
us context for
is.
maybe somebody watching who doesn't know what
Right.
you're talking about
Okay.
right now?
So during WMI, which was the popularity contest, I really wanted Winona to win, so I thought I should create some sort of propaganda piece. And I remember, I'm sure, I don't know if you guys know, but you can pretty much access any book through Google for free, PDF. And I remember I was like, okay, I want to write something. And I decided to take inspiration from the Communist Manifesto.
Jesus.
so I was interested, and I started like reading up on it. I was like, okay, I want to do that style, but I want to make it satire. So it's like like a fun read, you know.
You're using Cassidy's own like faction.
Yes,
her
precisely.
own
Turned
playbook.
it against her.
Yeah, precisely.
Uplifting
Yeah.
her greatest opponent.
Exactly.
Because did
Why?
Winona? I'm trying to remember that event. Did Winona lose in the finals to?
No, she lost in the first round.
What?
To Damon?
That was
You must have
so-
been devastated. To Damon? Of
Okay.
all- you must have been
I have
devastated.
The
words.
results were one day before I posted the manifesto.
Oh,
I remember
no.
being on the car ride. I was in the car ride back to my house, and I remember I was like, tonight I'm gonna finish it. I'm going to publish it. Everything's gonna go fine. And I looked at the results live, and I was devastated. I was
Devastated.
like, I was this close.
I feel like we need to do another one to give you a second chance.
Yes,
I would
yes,
love that.
we
It'd
are
be interesting to
definitely.
see how it would change up,
We
right?
are definitely doing
Especially
the
now
next one.
that like the prologue.
Yeah,
and-
exactly.
Yes.
Now there's something out there, so people,
Yeah.
okay,
Winona
Hopefully.
we'll give you
Manifesto
your second
2.
shot. We'll give you a second shot at life with Winona. That only seems fair. You put all that work in.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
to lose to Damon, that's got to
Damon-
be the worst possible way to lose
It
a
is.
popularity contest.
It was. I wouldn't have minded like any other character. You know that was
But
fine.
Damon.
But Damon,
Bruh.
that
Come
hurt.
on.
It hurt.
Oh no, Damon for sure is a first round exit this go around, right?
Yeah.
See, it's so funny because I know it's not my turn, but I was gonna say that Damon is my favorite.
Oh, no.
The reason
One
being,
of
okay,
those.
like,
Okay, give
I'm
the
dressed
Damon
as
pitch
a
for the second
catchy
popularity
girl
contest.
from Persona 5. Like, I don't know what you were expecting of me.
Fair enough.
But the reason being is like I love to hate him. Like I want to tell
Sure.
him to shut up, but I find him really compelling.
Mhm.
I think it's not that I am a Damon apologist per se, but I think in terms of writing and in terms of the angle and also what he brings out in other people, because all of the other Danganronpa protagonists, they bring out the best in people, and Damon digs at people. He digs at even the best people until they're like, "Hey man, what is wrong with you?" Which I'm really interested to see how the characters develop as a result of Damon's antagonistic actions. And I think that's why he is my favorite, or at least the character I'm most excited to see going forward. Because something tells me that his character arc, and this is just speculation, not based off anything, but something tells me his character arc is not going to be linear and straightforward. It's not going to be like, oh, I learned to love the people around me. I think it's going to be a lot more complicated, and I think it's going to have a lot more depth than that. I will say honorary mention to Jean.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
If I'm picking a character that I actually love their personality, that would be Jean for me.
Nice.
Gotcha.
I love that. And I will say that's a pretty strong pitch for Damon.
Yeah.
If Damon's popularity points went up at least 1 or 2 for me personally, based off that. So,
Yes.
so not bad.
I thought that was cool. I was talking to Taco about it, and we were both discussing how it was interesting where you sort of from Damon's perspective being the main character, you're seeing it through the eyes of like Tagami. And that's interesting to me where you're playing through like the eyes of the jerk, and then Wolfgang is what you expect like the protagonist of the show to be, and you're not that. And I think that's a really cool like the angle you're talking about. I think that's a great angle to go for in this project because there's nothing like there's just nothing like it.
Fascinating. I love it. All right, Kev, let's come back to you.
So I am biased. I do like Tozu.
Yes.
Tozu is
Yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the cast, it's hard for me to describe because like originally when I saw the project, I really did want to do John. I wanted to be the voice of John.
I can see that.
My audition, like I went way too pirate. You know, I was much more like this. When honestly, I should have been more like how Dylan did it, where it's just something a little bit more relaxed and more refined, but still has that gusto to him. But yeah, so like John design wise was definitely like something that I really like because like he stood out. He's a relatively bigger dude dressed in this peculiar attire, and I thought that was really neat. But in terms of like overall, I do have to love Cassidy just because of the energy that she brings out. And I do agree with you as well, where I do like Damon. he's not my favorite, obviously, but he's still up there because exactly as you said, where he's that a different protagonist than what the most main series is used to, and in a different way, like where the other protagonist tries to bring out the best in people. From what I've seen, it seems as Damon makes people question their own motives and what they think. At least from what was shown in the prologue, where it's just like he makes others think twice about what they believe. Where it's like, all right, well, we have this stand on something, and Damon's like, oh really? Oh really? Well, what about this? And then everyone's like,
And I think that comes from being the ultimate debater.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, this is a really interesting character, and I really want to see more.
We're redeeming Damien in real time here. All right, Justin, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Who do you resonate with?
Diana.
Oh my goodness, you
Full
stole
stop.
mine. I did not think you were gonna do that.
Loser.
Oh my god.
I will say this. As the person that has edited the voices and is like in charge of all of that, when I first saw the trailer, before I even got on the team, my favorite character by like design wise by the announcement trailer was Mark.
Okay, that's what I was
Yeah,
expecting.
yeah.
I was because we need somebody to say Mark. Otherwise,
Right.
we're gonna get like downvoted.
And
to
I'm not
crap on
saying
you.
I don't like I'm not saying I don't like Mark now. I still love Mark because I went to, I was a bedroom music producer growing up. I went to college for audio engineering, so I like resonated with a guy with that, knows all about that stuff. And like I love that the fact that in his like his splash art literally has Ableton Live like on his computer. Like the fact that Nefast like went through the process of like actually, like doing like designing it based off of something that's legit, like that's respect. But I've said this a couple times before that my opinions have not, and I'm not saying I dislike characters because of this, but once the voices were cast, certain characters just skyrocketed for me. And I think like characters that went from like, I don't know how I feel about them, some of them went from that to I absolutely love this character. Cassidy is one of those examples for me because I was just like, pro gamer, whatever. Her design's
Sabrina's
fine.
so talented.
But then
My
Yeah,
God.
Sabrina
right,
comes in
right.
and does the voice of Cassidy, and I'm just like, this is like now top 3 favorite characters for me. I love Cassidy
I
now
want
because of
want
that.
Sabrina in every game that I play. Like literally, I want
Yes,
her to voice
100%,
act in every
yes.
single game I play. There is always room for a Sabrina character, in my opinion. That energy and pep. I don't know how else
Yeah.
to describe it. Is unrivaled.
We
Yeah, if I were to pick a non-Diana character to not steal from you, I'd pick Cassidy.
Okay, I'll take it. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say Sabrina. We've been on a ton of projects together, and I've been, the pleasure I've had working with her. She often gives me a lot of advice on how to read lines and like just coming up with different creative ways to do it. Because I'll have something in my head and I'll go, okay, I feel this is the right choice, and she'll make me question it. She'll go, oh, what if like you emphasize this word into this and this and this, and then she'll do it, and I go, how did you come up with that just now? And apparently, according to her, that's how the process of recording Cassidy was she just found like 25 different creative ways to say the same line, and then they just kind of went with one.
That's what I love about Sabrina is not only does she have that X factor, her voice. If you've ever like spoken to her in the real world, her voice is just like that is the X factor. Like she just has something you can't teach with her voice. But she's actually also an incredibly talented actress. She's like the full package. And not to make this all like we're starting up like the Sabrina fandom here, but no, she seriously, like I agree with you. Cassidy was one of those characters that it probably mid for me as well. And then once casted, it was just like through the roof.
So many characters were like that for me, but I would say those are the strongest ones.
Our entire cast has just done such a great job of bringing these characters to life in ways that I wasn't expecting. I was like genuinely. I do remember when we first got the Tozu audition. Have people told you the stories about this? And like,
You've shown me a few of the
it
comments.
was a hot damn mess, man. They could not shut up. I was like, just cast him already. Like, can we
The
please
second
I've
stop?
not
you
heard
hit
this at all.
submit,
Actually, I'd
you
love
were
to.
in.
Yeah, like
No offense to everyone else who auditioned, but
No,
like,
Yeah, everybody like it was so hard to make decisions, and it's not to downplay other Tozu auditions, but it was just like
You were like one of the first, and you made an impression.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
it was just like people were geeking out. I won't drop names. I think some folks maybe had a small crush on the voice.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a lot of blush emojis in the chat. It was
Yeah, no, I remember seeing some of the comments after being cast where they showed me some of the comments, and was it there was one comment where it's just like, this voice makes me tingle, bro. Where it's just like, ASMR
I heard the
sort of
word
thing.
tingle a couple of
I'm
times.
like, that is hilarious
Yeah.
to me.
The team stands.
The voice
Tozu.
is a weapon at this point.
Right?
Like you can use it.
It really is.
And what was funny was that, like right now, at least in the prologue, like Tozu comes off as very like theatrical and over the top and very silly. But the voice that I used was much more dark and serious, where it's just like very ominous and powerful in this guy, where he's just like, prologue and audition are very different, but apparently the same guy.
But I was just gonna say, meeting you in real, I'm so glad that was the direction the Tozu character grew into as we went deeper in writing and started working with you, because that just seems so. It's the perfect fit for you. You
Yeah.
nail the voice, but also your energy. It's just like, I'm glad that we made him a little bit more whimsical, a little bit nonsensical. It's just the perfect match for you. But
and I'm sure that he could have his dark moments where I can actually do the audition Tozu of just, oh, you've pissed me off.
I'm gonna cut in here. We have about 10 minutes left.
Oh.
Yes.
So we could probably do one last topic real quick. Do
Yeah.
plugs and then say goodbye to San Japan, I guess.
Oh man, that's a big moment.
that-
Saying goodbye.
that
to
hit.
San-
I gotta be
That
honest, that
hurts.
hit.
That hurts.
Yeah. So I mean, I actually to feed into that nicely then. Yeah, because I even hear them downstairs. They're talking about like last call around to the convention. So I guess I kind of want to hear from y'all about, a word you have for the fans. We talked about it a lot this weekend. We're so fortunate as the developers, the voice actors, the team behind this project to have the undying support of this community. Actually, someone at the panel, I'm blanking on their name right now, so I'm so sorry. They were dressed as Junko, I believe. Yeah, they asked, like, what is it like having the entire Danganronpa fandom essentially behind you? And
I believe
all that.
Blake was their name.
Blake,
Blake,
thank
Blake.
you. So I guess I'm just, like, I would love to kind of hear y'all's word to the fan, or I don't know, just reflect on what it's been like having all the support. Lily, you kind of already alluded to it, getting to experience it in person. It's not just a bunch of Discord people now, but real people talking to you, shaking your hand. Just reflect on that a little bit.
It's crazy. It's awesome though, because it feels like we've really made something truly special out of this, where we're not just making a game, we're pushing forward this we're on like our own expedition, and everyone's trying to jump on and come along for the ride. And I'm having trouble wording all of this. It's incredible. We have the most supportive community in the world. People will make fan art so much, we can't possibly keep up with it.
I've never had fan art of me as a person made before.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I,
not
like,
true. Autumn made one of
I'm
you.
so grateful for that. Like, I just keep
Yeah.
swapping out my Discord PFP.
I just was checking back at I'm not too active in the fan channels, but I was there this morning because I was looking through the San Japan general chat, and I had a bunch of people asking if they could draw me. I'm like, no, I'm a programmer. They're like, yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
Like, do you have like an online persona? Can I draw you? And I'm like, oh, no, I don't, but I'd love for you to help me make one. So I have people, I said, I'm going to be slow to respond. I'm at San Japan today, but I've been getting DMs from people in the server all day helping me make my online persona so
That's
that they can
incredible.
draw me. And I'm like, are
Amazing.
you sure? Like, I'm just, we wouldn't be where we are without the fans. And it's
Oh,
not
absolutely.
it's not just simply the backing and support we have, but because the game isn't finished, the game wouldn't be where it is without the fans, because the game is growing with the fans. There's like, kind of the calendar joke and some of the things that will be kind of in the game moving forward, we may put Easter eggs that were from the Discord server, or things like that were inside jokes or things that wouldn't actually be there if the fans weren't there and contributing to it, which is kind of unlike the other Danganronpa games. Obviously, they have massive support and fan base, but those games were fully released and then the fans came, versus we have the privilege of getting to grow and develop the game alongside the fans who support us.
I'm so grateful we ended up going with that episodic release structure, because
Yes.
I think you made that observation earlier in the weekend,
Mhm.
and I love that, like, just our ability to sneak in those Easter eggs, give that fan service in a way that most games can't. I mean, you literally can't do it unless you have an amazing community like this and you do episodic releases. So it's incredibly fortunate we get to do that. What else do we have to say to the fans?
Well, it's surreal, mainly because like I got started with the I've wanted to do VA for a long time, and I literally just decided to start something up, like get a mic, a Blue Yeti mic from Best Buy during COVID, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna start recording stuff, and I did not expect to get into this role at all. Like I'm surprised because there was like 3,500 auditions.
That sounds
Yeah,
about right. It was
yeah,
absurd.
something like that.
It was
entire.
absurd.
It was absurd the amount of people that had auditioned for this project, and I managed to get in with like only so much experience. I was like, what? Like again with the setup that I have, and I've showed you the setup, and
Oh, yeah.
you're absolutely
Oh, yeah.
upset with me.
I strangled this man.
He did. He just. But yeah, like I have the bare minimum equipment, and somehow I got into the everyone else is like running with like equipment in the like what thousands, hundreds of
Oh,
dollars.
absolutely, yeah.
And here I am, some schmuck that was just like, I'm just gonna see let's see if I can get into this project. You know, it looks cool. It looks cool. Maybe I can get into it. And yeah, lo and behold, it got cast. I was like, what? It's wild being in this kind of environment with like all these talented individuals. So, I mean, yeah, it's a trip.
Amazing. I love that.
And just going back to what Lily said, I think the community is so supportive, and this goes both. This is both for the fans and the staff team. When you're on the Discord server, obviously the project is getting a lot of support, but with San Japan, getting to actually see the faces behind the usernames and like realizing, okay, this is real.
These aren't just bots. Oh my god,
they're
people
not
actually
bots.
like
Yeah.
this.
They actually
This
exist.
isn't a
A bit of like
simulation.
object permanence. Like
Right.
you're not there. I think Dakota, were you the person saying that at the panel? Like, you're not there. You're just in my computer.
That was Robbie.
Oh,
No,
was
that was
Robbie.
Robbie.
that was
Yeah,
not me.
that was
Yeah.
Robbie. Yeah, so just actually meeting the people, kind of like it hits you in the face. You're like, okay, wow, this is actually real. So
Excellent. I love that. Justin, what about you? You got anything for the fans?
I mean, I already kind of talked about it, I think, on podcast 1. Just, we only have a couple minutes left, so. Oh. I had imposter syndrome when I first joined this. I'm going to make it short. I had imposter syndrome when I first joined this project. I don't know who else here did. But just like throughout the couple of years that we've been working on this, and I make stuff. I solve like some of the audio problems that we have. I helped with chapter 1. So many people have come and like complimented the work that I've done specifically, and some people even pointed out like specific things that I did in the prologue that I wouldn't have expected anyone to notice and be like, whoa, because like I watched Nicole and Scotty's playthrough of it, and when they got to the elevator scene, and I made like a really complex elevator sound, and I posted about it on my YouTube channel, and I'm like, no one's ever going to notice. It's like an ambience thing that I set up that's generative, that's never going to repeat. It's always going to sound fresh every single time. And they were just complimenting, like, the elevator was like, the sound is amazing. It feels like I feel like I'm there. And it's just having people, so many people, just be like, notice the work that I do, which is supposed to not be noticed, has been amazing to me.
I love that. Well, on that note, I just want to, first and foremost, I want to thank all of you here on the podcast, and of course, the rest of the Eden's Garden staff who are both here and online supporting us. This has been truly a magical event. I've said it many, many times. Sorry for being a broken record, but it's truly an honor to be here with all of you, to watch you all grow into the roles that you have. It keeps me inspired. It keeps me going. I feel so, so very fortunate that I get to share this experience with you all. And as far as what I had to say to the fans, I mean, what hasn't already been said? So grateful to the community. Thank you for continuing to support this project. At this point, you've seen pretty much all of our San Japan content except the documentary, so keep an eye out for that. But let's close out there. Thank you all so very much, and keep an eye out for Chapter 1.
Yeah, very quickly, plug.
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 Let's do plugs.
Okay. You can find me on Twitter. Was it Tarquin_Arusa VA or just Dakota Farnsworth?
You can find me on Discord, Erxian, and make sure to vote for Winona this March.
You can find me on Twitter at Kevin Gerard VA.
I am on Discord as Book of Spades, and I'm also a cosplayer, so I'm on Instagram and TikTok under the same user.
I'm Pipe Dream DX on everything. Justin Gilbert, JustinGilbertSound.com if you want to check out my portfolio. And that's it for me.
Yep, and I'm the Boomer. I'm on Twitter /X as JuviD, I think. So you can catch me there. But
All the
does it-
links will be in the description. So
Yes, that does it for us. That pretty much does it for San Japan. Let's get back to the booth, make sure that Anthony hasn't set it on fire, and we will catch y'all next time.
Bye. Bye.